right, welcome back. Whitlock and Wiley, joined now by former Pro Bowler Shawne Merriman. Let's move to the NFL, where Aaron Rodgers has been pushing back against all his critics this week. Not only did he deny the Bleacher Report story on his dysfunctional relationship with Mike McCarthy, he also offered another explanation for why the Packers disappointed last year, revealing that he played with a fractured leg for almost the entire season. All right, the question here is Aaron Rodgers trying to deflect from all the controversy around him and from the disappointing season, or is he just revealing the truth? I think he's trying to deflect. I think he's put this out there. There's all this controversy and conversation about he and Mike McCarthy, and he put this out there in the same interview to say, look how heroically I played last year. I didn't have to do that. I'm a great teammate. I'm a great Packer. I played all last year injured. I think he's protected himself.
I can't argue that. I just think it's a different situation when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, the mental makeup. I think he's really adjusting to the criticism. This is a guy who has the new contract, which could take him into retirement if he desires. If not, he could get another big one. That changes how you approach things. Also, all the criticism and basically the team not performing last year, and everyone's saying it's because of your leadership in part. You start to make adjustments. The beauty of being an athlete is you can self-correct. In the first quarter, I tried that move. Damn, Walter Jones just stuffed that move. In the third quarter, I'm going to set him up to do that same move. It worked. I think Aaron Rodgers has been doing the same move for many years of his career. And finally, he's doing that move at a different pace with a different intention. So we asked him to change. He's changing. We asked him to reveal more of himself, be a different leader. He's doing it. He's coming to the defense of someone else, and it wasn't Aaron Rodgers. He defended Mike McCarthy more so than himself. You ask him a question now, instead of being close to the vest or being dismissive, I'm going to tell you what's up. If we really want this guy to show us a different level, then we got to respect it when we see it actually occur.
Yeah, and I don't think he's deflecting at all. And you know what I really don't understand is when all these guys out here, former teammates and people who played with him or against him, saying all these things, as soon as he come out and say one thing, now he's deflecting. I just, I don't like that because what about just defending himself? Because all the injuries he said he's had, the MCL, which normally takes 2 to 4 weeks to heal, the bone fracture he had, a hairline fracture he had, that thing doesn't heal until you're completely off of it and you just let it heal on its own. So, yeah, you play with it for the entire season. But all these players and other people have come out and said these things about Aaron Rodgers, and he come out and say, hey, guys, by the way, I was injured and I played with it. So, yeah, my game dipped a little bit. That's not deflecting. He's just telling you what it is. He's telling you I was hurt and I went out there and did what I was supposed to do. I don't feel like he's deflecting. I don't feel like his game dropped for any other reason. I don't believe any great quarterback of his stature drops tremendously or drops that bad unless you're injured. He's coming out and saying, okay, this is why we're injured, and I don't think anybody can dispute that.
And when this is coming out right now, this is the offseason. This is the time where you reset and look forward, not try to go backwards and rewind and try to change something that's already in the books. He knows that right now everyone is looking forward. He's just going to remind you that there's still a lot of greatness in here. And I had issues last year.
I guess I would have unpacked this a bit more in a calculated fashion. If I'm coming on to do an interview to basically defend myself and Mike McCarthy from this Bleacher Report article, I handle that.
Yeah.
OTAs have just started. You're going to be in town. I circle back a week later and then unpack this. I don't do them at the same time. It looks too coordinated. It looks like it's part of the deflection. And I wonder how, again, the locker room, there's a lot of different personalities, a lot of different points of views. I wonder how this will play in the locker room. Again, when you start talking about last season, what are we, 1st of April? Mm-hmm. Now you're talking, the season's been over. They didn't make the playoffs, right?
No.
Yeah, the season's been over since like the first week in January. And now, oh, God, guys, played the whole year.
But to Merriman's point, you can't win that. Okay, you don't make the playoffs. The season's over. The next day you say, I played the whole year hurt. Man, what you talking about? Like, there's no time.
He was almost forced to come out and say it.
Yeah, there's no time where that lands softly. No matter when you say that,
You don't think that would have landed great right after the season?
No. Why? Because it'll sound like an excuse. Oh, you didn't make playoffs. Oh, now you were hurt. I hear it.
He had to come out and defend himself.
Yeah.
And with,
When does
not,
that sound
not to
better?
mention, so all these injuries and stuff that he's had, one thing about having an injury in the locker room is you spend a lot of time with those trainers. So anytime you going out there to practice, whoever has something that they're trying to heal, got a bag of ice on, they got a stim machine on, they're getting constant rehab. So I don't think anybody in that locker room is necessarily going to come out and saying he was lying or not telling the truth.
Oh, no.
And that played a big part in it because they actually seen his progression and seeing what happened during the season, really seen him injured.
I don't think that anyone thinks he's lying. I think they're going to, why bring it out now? I can understand why you don't bring it out during the season because you don't want the opponents to know.
Yeah.
I get that. But as soon as the season's over, why not unpack it? This to me, you remember in the finals, I think it was last year, and as soon as the finals was over, LeBron put a cast on.
Oh, yeah.
Came to the press conference, hey, look at me. And,
They ate him up.
but again,
But what if he award cast 4 months later and they said, what's that? Oh, I broke it when we were playing.
No. All I'm saying
You can't
is
win.
Aaron Rodgers and LeBron James, there's a lot of similarities between these guys. Super talented, a bit eccentric, think they're the smartest person in the room, and could really use some PR help and some strategy help in terms of controlling their image and narrative. And I just, again, I liked how he defended himself, how he defended Mike McCarthy. I would have just left the injury excuse alone.
I got to get this off my chest because you know what? It's real comfortable in here right now. What is it? A nice 69 degrees because I sweat a lot. And we get here and sometimes forget how it is there. When Aaron Rodgers walks in the room, it's asteroids. Pew, pew. Everyone is shooting at him, question after question from 5 years ago. Forget the beginning of last season. And I respect what you're saying. You're saying there's a sequence of events, a sequence of unveiling that needs to be respected, almost a sophistication that he's not really buying into. But the problem is they fly at him so often and so numerous that when he responds to two of them, they just explode into this bigger thing than it is. I think he's actually approaching it the right way. It's just so much to unpack when you talk about a great one like him.
And I don't think he's running away from it. The problem is that you have, like you said, you have players still talking about what he did in 2008 and 2009.
Man.
So you can't address everything. So when he finally comes out and say that one thing, whatever that biggest topic is, they talk, I heard what he said. They said a bunch of things, but this is what got picked up the most. Him defending Mike McCarthy and also him talking about the injuries. He talked about a lot of other things too, but he can't address 8 years worth of people talking. So you come out to whatever's the topic and whatever's the topic now that people want to hear about. He just discussed it and moved on from it.
All right, coming up, a lot of people are hoping Tiger ends his major drought this week at the Masters. I'll explain why we should just stop and smell the azaleas. Eric!